Anthony Schweppe is on the phone with us. He is the head pro over at head golf professional at Regents Glen Country Club, and he joins us on this busy morning. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
I'm doing well, Gary. How are you?
Oh, it's good. Save me from this other leprechaun I've got here in the studio anyway. But
welcome in, Anthony.
Great to have you in this morning. But you actually are from Ireland. You're a golf professional. You played I guess it's the Dunluce Links at Portrush, right?
Yes, I have.
I don't know if you've ever played for the Claret Jug yet, but hey, they're coming back to Northern Ireland tomorrow. It's got to be an exciting time for anybody who's Irish, right? Getting the British Open, known simply as the Open now, back to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's going to be it's incredible. I was watching the Golf Channel yesterday, and they were saying that I believe this is the first time in the history of the Open that it's actually sold out for the entire week.
Wow.
So that should give you... that's a big statement to show how much golf is appreciated on that side of the ocean.
And by the way, here's a trivia question for anybody out there. The only player to have won the Open at Royal Portrush, do you know the name off the top of your head, Anthony?
No.
His name is Max Faulkner. There's a little trivia question for today. Max Faulkner, Faulkner. So tell me about how much different is it going to be playing in Ireland at Royal Portrush than it was, let's say, in Scotland, where it's been for a long time, and obviously also in England?
The biggest difference really is going to probably be the atmosphere with the Irish spectators. They're very welcoming to everybody, so they'll probably be a little livelier than what you will have seen.
Okay.
Over in Scotland, but in golf with Royal Portrush. That track itself is a little different than what you would see in a traditional British Open.
How is it different? What ways is it different?
There's subtle elevation changes at this links golf course that you normally wouldn't associate when you're playing a seaside links golf course. So there's a few holes where that subtle elevation change combined with the fact that the wind is going to be blustery can throw your yardages and your spin profiles off. So it is a very tricky golf course to get around if you don't know how to flight the ball, or you're a player who likes to just kind of hit one specific type of shot to get around.
Now you've played almost all the golf courses there, obviously, in Northern Ireland. You've played Royal Portrush. What's it like to go around this course? I mean, visually, I'm looking at it. You've got the ocean there involved. You've got some other holes that don't have the ocean involved. Tell me a little bit about how you play this golf course.
So how you play the golf course really is determined by the weather. Mm-hmm. So you can't really have a game plan. So a lot of times when you go to play links golf, you've got to adapt basically hole by hole based off of what's going on, because you can get a squall that will pick up. And if you're unfortunate enough, you're at the difficult stretch of that golf course, and now all of a sudden you've got 30-mile-an-hour blustery winds and the rain is coming in sideways. Or you could slip through that little section of holes and end up having the wind in your favor. So to play a links course like that, you really have to be able to adjust on the fly, to kind of take a game plan and put it aside and work the golf ball against the wind or knock it along the ground if need be. And put the ego in check and realize that 240 yards off the tee is sometimes a good option to avoid.
And these are for guys that beat it to 320 to 340 off the tee a lot of times. So the air maybe isn't always your friend. You and I were talking off air yesterday, and you said the ground game here. I like to call it the infantry game now and then. It's going to be so important because that's one of the things about links golf that makes it so intriguing is getting the ball on the ground. Right? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, what's unique about it on that side of the ocean when we play links golf is I always say that your target is dynamic. It's always moving. You can hit a tee shot, and in most American courses, you can tee off, the ball is in the air, you can pick up your tee and walk to the side. In European links golf, particularly Portrush, you're not watching that. You're going to watch that golf ball until it stops rolling because it can take some pretty big kicks. So when you get out there, a lot of times the standard conventional shot, let's say you've got 165 yards and it's a stock 8-iron. That could be a 4-iron. It could be a 5-wood bunt along the ground. It could be a downwind pitching wedge or a sand wedge. You really won't know. And depending on the direction that wind comes from at any specific time, that's why the low punch shot or even the bump and run from 60, 80 yards is a go-to shot. So somebody like Tiger, who can flight the ball and command, Padraig Harrington, Tommy Fleetwood, I'd be keeping my eye out on those guys here this upcoming week. I think they'll have a chance to make some magic happen.
We're going to take a break. We're going to come back. I want people, that, as they're watching this weekend, to know some of the holes that maybe you think will be pivotal holes. So we'll come back. We'll take a very quick break. We're with Anthony Schweppe this morning, head golf professional at Regents Glen Country Club from Ireland, has played the Open course at Portrush. He'll tell us about some of the holes to watch this weekend as you're following the Open. Welcome back. WSBA Morning News with Gary Sutton. It's 8:18 on a Wednesday morning. Glad you could join us on the main street of America, but we're finding out about the main course, not in America, but the one that everybody will be focusing on this weekend. Portrush is the name of the place, and Anthony Schweppe is the head golf professional at Regents Glen Country Club. He's from Ireland. He's played the Open course, and he's kind of helping us to view it this weekend as it starts tomorrow. And, Anthony, you look at this course, it looks dangerous to me. It looks like a course that could cause some problems, maybe not as long as some of the courses here in the country, and yet it's long enough. And, again, as you said, nature presents herself in a given moment there. It can change everything for the golfers who are maybe planning for one thing and will get something else in the space of just moments, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The uniqueness of the length of the golf course, that really is irrelevant because of the sea breeze and the location of where that is. So like a 460-yard par 4, which would be moderate length now, that could easily play 500, 520 if the wind is blowing. So I wouldn't let the yardages fool you at all there with this golf course.
Are there certain key holes? You know, we talk about Augusta and Amen Corner, or we talk about different courses where there's maybe a stretch of holes. Is there a stretch of holes, or are there key holes here that the pros are going to have to get by that are going to be that are standing out in your mind right now, so to speak?
Yeah, there's it's a nice gentle opening golf course, so it's kind of benign. The first 2 or 3 holes, you can kind of get your rhythm going, and then you want to kind of put your foot down right around about holes 4, 5, and 6, particularly 5. That's a soft dogleg par 4, and with it being calm and bouncy, or even if the wind is blowing with, a lot of the bigger hitters might be actually able to get home off the tee shot there. So that's like 380.
Yeah, 374 yards, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, there's going to be a lot of guys, if they get a great drive away, they could potentially get a run going there. And then you're moving on to the par 3 right after that, and then there's a long par 5. So if you get 3 good holes in a row, there's a possibility in that 3 holes you could pick up 4 or 5 strokes.
Right.
If you've got it going. And then, you know, you got to grind out a little bit there coming in through the back nine. But then I always love when you get to 16, it's called Calamity Corner.
Okay.
And that's now like a 238-yard par 3 with it's about a 75-yard valley to the right-hand side. So if you come up short, you're done.
Yeah, I would say
it's going to force you to have to hit a shot.
And again, if you're hitting that into the wind, you really have something on your mind there, because 236 yards could turn into like 260 or 270 yards real quick, right?
Real quick. That's so I'm hopeful that if that is the case, that the RNA will move the tees forward so that it doesn't become an unplayable hole. But yeah, 16, 17, and 18 I always love that little stretch coming back up to the clubhouse there.
You know,
that's really.
You talked about watching your shots roll out. Is the course baked right now? Is it green? I mean, you go to Ireland. I mean, I've never been to a place that's been so green in my whole life. But when you go here to the golf course, you get the winds all the time. You get the sun baking on you. You don't have a lot of trees, obviously. So you got a situation there. Is it what's it like right now this time of year?
So it's changing the last few years, but we're starting to see a little bit more rain in the summer season, believe it or not. So it's not baked out, but it is still going to be firm because it is a links golf course. So a lot of that surface moisture is going to be whipped off by the wind coming in.
Wow.
But I'm curious to see what's going to happen to distance control, because you literally are at sea level. So we shouldn't be seeing any obnoxious distances with irons. People hitting 6 irons, 230 yards,
right,
maybe downwind with some run out. But you won't be seeing a lot of golf balls, I think, flying into the pins. I think they'll still have a little firmness to the greens, and that's why I was saying earlier on about this kind of target being a movable or dynamic target. Your yardage will change because you might want to hit that golf ball that's going 165. You may want to land at 145 and let it run into the hole.
Wow.
So you can use the terrain a little bit. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. I know the course is in phenomenal shape. It hasn't been a scorcher this year up in the northern section of Ireland. I believe it's going to be in the mid-60s this week with some blustery conditions. So it should determine who the best champion golfer of the year is.
A record-breaking crowd of 237,750 to attend the 148th Open at the Royal Portrush. Anthony, do you have a winner picked here? If you're looking at someone right now, you mentioned a name earlier too, but about 30 seconds left. Who would be your top three choices right now?
Top three would be Rory. He's got the course record there. I believe he shot 61.
Okay.
Tiger.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at Brooks Koepka because I believe his caddy is from Portrush.
There you go. So
he's got some local knowledge.
And he is tough in these majors. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. I know it's an exciting time for Northern Ireland, and we appreciate you breaking things down for us. Thank you so much.
You got it. No worries.
Take care, my friend. Anthony Schweppe, head golf professor over at Regents Glen Country Club right here in York. WSBA News Time, 8:24.